It's rare to find a European city that feels luxurious, yet doesn't cost much to live in. But they do exist. I've been to them, and I can tell you that you can actually have both, luxury and sensible prices. In this video, I'll take you through 10 European cities that feel expensive, but aren't. Prepare for some unexpected picks, as well as hidden gems nobody talks about. Number 1. Tallinn, Estonia. Estonia is a cross between the Baltic and Nordic countries. Geographically, Baltic, but historically and culturally, Estonia has been pulled toward Finland and Sweden for centuries. With its Nordic standards, it feels expensive. Yet it isn't, because it has retained Baltic-level prices. The capital of the country is delightfully small, quiet, modern, safe, and with that unmistakable Nordic atmosphere of healthy work-life balance. As an introvert, I instantly felt at home. And if you want to leave the city, nature is always nearby, with some of the wildest areas in Europe outside of the Nordics. Estonia is a tech-forward country. Residents are able to do almost everything online, from voting and banking to filling prescriptions, starting companies, and signing contracts. Despite all the technological conveniences and the modern infrastructure of Estonia's capital, Tallinn doesn't come with a painful price tag of its Nordic inspirations. It doesn't have a brand like Stockholm, Oslo, or Copenhagen. It also doesn't attract droves of expats, keeping costs stable. A meal in an inexpensive restaurant costs 13 euros. A cappuccino costs about 4 euros. A monthly pass for public transportation costs 30 euros. And for Tallinn residents, it's free. A one-bedroom apartment in the city center costs about 700 euros, with utilities costing about 200 euros. The costs are reasonable for a capital city in such a highly developed, technologically advanced country. And what if you don't like cold cities like Tallinn? Then you'll like my second option. Number 2, Malaga, Spain. Unlike Estonia or Tallinn, Spain has a global brand, with millions of tourists and thousands of expats moving each year to the country. Yet while some of the most well-known Spanish cities like Barcelona or Palma de Mallorca have been steadily getting more expensive, Malaga is still affordable for what it offers. And what does it offer that it feels expensive, yet it isn't? The list is long. The city has a harbor with yachts, and it's even the oldest continuously operating port in Spain. It has palm-lined boulevards, kilometers of urban beaches, rooftop bars, and modern museums. It's the same vibe you can expect in Nice or Barcelona, yet everything is much cheaper, and the city is much safer too. Then there are also large Sierra Nevada mountains nearby, and countless cities and pueblos for day trips. It also helps that Malaga has some of the warmest winters of any European city with a population over 500,000. Imagine taking a stroll along the well-maintained beachfront promenade in the middle of December while wearing a t-shirt. Yes, it's possible, with daytime temperatures in December in recent years crossing 26 degrees Celsius, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. A meal in an affordable restaurant costs about 15 euros, but a cappuccino costs just 2 euros. A monthly pass for public transportation is 24 euros. A one-bedroom apartment in the city center costs about 1,100 euros, with utilities costing about 100 euros. All in all, you don't need much to live in one of the best, yet lesser-known coastal cities in Europe, where it's sunny and warm almost all the time. Malaga sounds great, but you'd rather live in a more centrally located city in Europe? Then check out the next city. Number 3. Wrocław, Poland. Wrocław is the 4th largest city in Poland, known for its many picturesque bridges and islands. Unlike Krakow, a much more internationally renowned Polish city, Wrocław keeps a low profile, rewarding those who prefer to skip the obvious choices. With its location near the Germany and Czechia borders, Wrocław is also a great base for exploring this part of Europe. But what about the city in itself? It has a rich architecture with Gothic churches, pastel historic townhouses, and modern glass offices. The city is known for its lively student scene and countless cultural events. It has trams, bike lanes, a polished airport, lively restaurants, and co-working spaces. In other words, you get all the infrastructure you'd expect from a big Western city, yet it all costs much less and is often more modern and better maintained, too. The Old Town is spectacular in the summer, where you can sit by the river surrounded by residents and tourists alike, all enjoying the lazy, unhurried atmosphere. And what if you want to have a meal or get a coffee? A meal in an inexpensive restaurant costs about 10 euros, while a cappuccino costs 350 euros. The city's public transportation costs about 26 euros monthly. If you want to rent a one-bedroom apartment in the city center, it'll cost about 800 euros, plus about 150 euros in utilities. Do you like the Slavic culture, but you're missing warmer temperatures or the sea? Then how about my next pick? Number 4, Split, Croatia. Imagine a city that has the same vibe and style as the Italian or French Riviera, yet it isn't located in these two famously expensive European regions. Instead, it's located on the Adriatic coast in Croatia. The Riva Promenade in Split feels straight out of Monaco. Only it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and it isn't claustrophobically narrow. The Old Town and its Diocletian's Palace are strikingly unique. Even me, a person who isn't much into architecture, fell in love with the city. It's so polished and spectacular. You'd expect astronomical prices, but while life in Split may not be the cheapest compared to other parts of Croatia, including the capital, it's still affordable for what it offers. The city has a long and sunny summer season, while winters are mild. An average meal in an inexpensive restaurant costs 15 euros, but you can enjoy a cappuccino while watching the world go by for just 250 euros. While the city is compact enough that you could just walk or bike anywhere, a monthly public transportation pass costs 35 euros if you need it. A one-bedroom apartment in the city center costs about 900 euros, plus about 200 euros for utilities. Split is too small and too quiet for your taste? Then check out the next city, a well-known one, but with surprisingly low prices. Number 5, Prague, Czechia. Yes, yes, yes. Unlike the previous destinations, Prague is a well-known city, no doubt about it. But what makes Prague appear on this list anyway is that despite its well-deserved international reputation, it still manages to be affordable. Prague is one of the most beautiful destinations in Europe. Gothic spires, Baroque palaces, and Art Nouveau facades are all over the place. Add to that the scenic Vltava River, and it all looks just too perfect. But Prague isn't just some open-air museum. It's one of the most populous cities on this list, offering everything that you may expect from a big, modern city, and then some. It's clean, safe, and surprisingly international. There's a reason why so many expats choose to base themselves there over similar-sized cities in Germany or Austria. Walk across the famous Charles Bridge linking Prague's Old Town and Lesser Town, and you'll feel like the city has Vienna prices. But a meal in an affordable restaurant costs just 9 euros instead of 15 in Vienna. Order a pint in a centuries-old beer hall, and you feel like it's Munich. Only the beer costs 250 euros instead of 5 euros. Want to use public transportation? Pay 23 euros and you have a monthly pass. Want to rent a one-bedroom apartment in the city center? Admittedly, that's more expensive at around 1,050 euros, plus about 200 euros for utilities. Still, we're talking about an international city of about 1.4 million residents. Not a small town. Prague is cool, but you'd like to experience a dynamically growing, lesser-known city? I have something just for you. Number 6, Tirana, Albania. Slightly exotic in atmosphere, combining modern architecture with unique local motifs. Safe and peaceful, even if still a little rough around the edges. In Europe, but feeling a little bit like another continent. Wide boulevards, a monumental central square, new high-rises, malls, bright colors, and fancy cafes with chic terraces and stylish interiors. Behind all of that, a hint of Italian inspiration. What is that weird combination? It's Tirana, the capital of Albania. The city looks like a rising modern capital, so it feels like it should be expensive. But it's not. It has typical Balkan prices, some of the most affordable anywhere in Europe. And while the rest of the country isn't as polished, my first impression of Albania wasn't favorable until I visited the capital. You'll be surprised how cosmopolitan Tirana is. A meal in an average inexpensive restaurant costs about 10 euros, while a cappuccino costs less than 2 euros. A monthly public transportation pass costs just 17 euros. If you want to rent a one-bedroom apartment in a central location, expect to pay around 700 euros. Utilities add another 80 euros to the bill. You like pulsing energy, but you'd prefer a much larger city? Then let's head back to the country we've already covered, but talk about a different city. Number 7, Warsaw, Poland. We're back in Poland, But there's a good reason why we're here again. Warsaw has one of the most impressive skylines in all of Europe. It has one of the most dynamic economies, steadily growing even when other comparable cities have been mostly stagnant. It's one of the safest cities in Europe. It's home to regional headquarters of many multinational corporations. It has expansive green parks, but also a densely built-up business district with some of the tallest skyscrapers in all of Europe. It would make sense to expect prices closer to London or Frankfurt, yet Warsaw's prices are up to 50% lower than those cities. For those who want career prospects and affordable daily living, this city is a rare combination. An average meal in an inexpensive restaurant will cost you around 10 euros. A cappuccino costs 350 euros. If you want to move around the city with its excellent public transportation, that's just 26 euros. To rent a one-bedroom apartment in the city center, expect to pay around 1,000 euros, plus 150 euros for utilities. This fast pace of living is not for you, and you're looking for something a little less hectic and completely off the beaten path? You'll find the next option interesting. Number 8, Pécs, Hungary. If you think about Hungary, perhaps the only city that comes to your mind is Budapest. But Hungary is more than just its capital. The country's smaller cities can cost up to a third less, yet still offer great, if not better, quality of life. That's the case with picturesque Pécs, an ancient city in southern Hungary located close to the Croatian border. As the 5th largest city of Hungary, it's unlikely you've ever heard about it. Yet it's one of the most affordable cities in this part of Europe, while at the same time offering spectacular historic architecture, cultural richness, and refined university atmosphere. In fact, I preferred my day in Pécs to my day in Budapest. While Budapest felt like a city revolving around tourism, Pécs felt like a city made for living. And why would you want to live there instead of the capital? Because it's much cheaper, much less busy, and much quieter. You can pay just 9 euros for an inexpensive meal and 2 euros for a cappuccino. A monthly pass for public transportation costs 21 euros, but rent prices are where the city really differs from the capital. You can find a one-bedroom apartment in the well-restored center of the city for just 500 euros. It's the lowest price so far. Even with another 100 euros for utilities, you're still looking at only 600 euros per month. You love the idea of a quiet, small city, but you're looking for something more populous, yet still manageable? I have something exactly right for you. Number 9, Bratislava, Slovakia. Bratislava is the capital of Slovakia, but it feels more like a quiet, mid-sized city. Located just 1 hour away by car from Vienna and sharing some of its architectural DNA, Bratislava is an ingenious way to enjoy low prices while having access to more expensive luxury a quick drive away. But let's not define Bratislava by its neighbors. The city confidently stands on its own. Baroque palaces, pastel townhouses, tree-lined streets, and the castle rising above the river give it the air of old European wealth. Everything about it whispers understated refinement. Yes, it's quiet and rather unhurried for a capital city, but that's what gives it a polished, elegant atmosphere, even though it's not that expensive. An average meal in an inexpensive restaurant costs about 10 euros. A cappuccino costs 3 euros, and public transportation will cost you 40 euros per month. You can rent a one-bedroom apartment in the city center for about 850 euros, with no more than 150 euros for utilities. Not bad for such a refined city next door to Vienna. There's something inside you that compels you to explore unknown cities and rarely covered countries? Then let's talk about the last city on this list, a true hidden gem. Number 10, Oradea, Romania. And now it's time for the last city, which offers by far the lowest prices, yet it can still feel upscale. At first glance, Oradea is easy to overlook. As Romania's 9th largest city located right by the Hungarian border, you may treat it as a city that you pass on the way to other destinations in Romania. But that's how hidden gems hide, in plain sight. Oradea's city center is filled with beautifully restored colorful Art Nouveau palaces, Baroque facades, grand boulevards, modern murals, and clean streets. There are synagogues, cathedrals, and monasteries. I did not expect anything when I visited this city. Yet, I was blown away and now consider it one of the most architecturally pleasing cities in all of Europe. It feels like a city with money, but a meal in an affordable restaurant costs just 8 euros, while a cappuccino in a stylish cafe costs 250 euros. If you need to use public transportation, A monthly pass is just 21 euros. Rent prices are where the city shines. Apart from the shining mosaic and its impressive Black Eagle Palace, a one-bedroom apartment in a central location costs just 350 euros. With another 150 euros for utilities, you can have a place for yourself for just 500 euros per month. Cities like these prove that living beautifully and with luxury doesn't have to mean living expensively. If you enjoyed this journey, hit subscribe. There are many more places worth discovering, and you won't want to miss the next one.